Hello and welcome to this new chess video. This is the second video in the series, Basic Chess, on the Gambit Club channel. Today we're going to learn how to move your pieces and how to play in a chess game. Every piece in your army, the two rows here, your pieces are called your army, and they all move in a different way from the other pieces. So we'll start looking at the pawns here. They're the second row here, this one here, and row 7 up here. Now, usually every chess game, almost every chess game, starts by moving a pawn. At the beginning, the pawns can move either one step, so like this, or 2 steps, like this. Now you can see it better in this image here. You don't have to move the king pawn first. You can move any pawn you like. It can move either 1 or 2 steps. Though, after it has had its first move, in which it can move 2 steps, then it can only move 1 step. See? It doesn't go up there. I have to do this. Okay? Now, ignore what black's doing there. Not important. How does a pawn capture? Okay? This is how. A pawn can move only, after the first move, can only move 1 step forward. But it cannot capture by going forward. It has to capture diagonally, as you can see here. Here it has the choice of either capturing the enemy pawn or going forward. And the black pawn can do the same thing. It can capture the white pawn if it's his turn. Okay? Now, if this is clear enough, we can move to the next piece, and that's your knight. Your knights, you can see them here, are the ones that look like horses, if you can remember. They look like this, usually, and they are probably the most complicated piece you can... Well, that's my job. They're probably the most complicated piece you can move in chess. It takes time at the beginning to see and realize how they move and where they move and how to look out for them. The knight moves in an L direction. So, say we have a knight here on one of the middle squares. To move, it will have to go first up 3 steps and then right 1 step, or first up 3 steps and then left 1 step, or 1 step up and 3 steps left. It takes time to master, but it's a very important piece in chess. The knight and the bishop are also called the minor pieces because they are not worth as much as the queen and rooks. But they are worth more than the pawns. Here you can see again, it goes down 3 steps, then left. You can remember it by thinking of an L. An L goes like this, and that's how you move it. It can go this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. It can go basically any way it likes, if you keep the 4-box L format. Another thing about the knight, which is very important to know, is that knights can actually jump over pieces, which no other piece can do. For example, here we can see this impossible situation in which knight is completely surrounded by both its pieces and the black's pieces. It still controls and attacks these squares here because it can jump over how many it likes. Two pieces may not be occupying the same square, by the way. The next piece we're going to look at is the bishop, and here it is. No, this is how it captures in diagonal the pawn. The bishops are these here. There is a bishop on a black square and a bishop on a white square. The bishop on a white square, as you can see, only moves on white boxes, white squares, diagonal in how many it likes diagonally, and only diagonally. And the bishop on a black square, you can see. I'll just move this like this. It can go diagonally, and the bishop on a black square also goes only diagonally, but only on black squares. Another thing about the bishop, just to show, unlike the knight, it may not jump. A knight, you can see it only reaches up to here. It does not cover this box, this square down here, because there is an enemy piece in the way. The next piece we're going to look at are the rooks. These here in the corners, they look like towers, and they move vertically and horizontally. How many squares they want. They're a very useful piece, a very important piece, and they can move both up and down. They cannot move up and down at the same time, though, as that's kind of obvious. And all these pieces, they can only move one direction at the same time, not the band. One direction at a time. So the rook may not move one square here and then in the same turn move up here. It may only move how many squares it likes, but just in one direction, and cannot change direction in the same turn. I think so. My bishop, when it left here, it could not do this and then take the pawn, capture the pawn down there. With bishops, knights, and rooks and queens as well, there is no different form of capturing like pawns. They move and capture. So, for example, if there was an enemy knight here, my rook could capture it. The next piece is probably one of the most important pieces in chess, the most valuable piece anyway, and it's the queen. You can see it looks kind of chaotic, but if you imagine it's kind of a rook and a bishop put together at the same time, it may move how many squares it likes diagonally, horizontally, and vertically. It may not, though, do the knight's move. It may not, which is a common mistake. Sometimes you see beginners trying to move a queen like a knight because they've been taught that it can move just like all the other pieces. It may not transform itself in a Pegasus unicorn and fly from this box here to this box here, which is also quite a common mistake. It is not Superman, it is a queen. It captures in the directions it can move, and it can only move in one direction at a time, in one turn. Then we have the most important piece in chess, though it's not the most valuable, it's quite useless, is the king. Here you can see it stands on the black E square here, E1, and it can move in any direction it likes. It may not, just one step though, and that is kind of annoying in some ways, because it can't escape from enemy danger. The point of the game of chess is to capture the king, not kill it, capture it. So put it in a position where it can't move anymore without being killed, and that is made easier by the fact it can only move one square per turn. But it is also very useful because it is the only piece in chess that can cover all the boxes around it except the queen. So in that way, that makes it more difficult to apply a checkmate. Yes, those are all the pieces on your chessboard. Now you can maybe even start playing a few practice matches. You know how they move. It will take time. If anything is unclear, you can go back and watch parts of this video again. And thank you very much.